I'm gonna unmute all the commissioners just so. Hear everybody? Donna, Jeannie, Louis, and Claudia. Okay, Ms. Tillison's on you. Kick it off for us.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is swearing in of new commissioner.
All right. I know Angie was going to come to do this, and I've texted her, and she might have forgotten. So do you want me to do it, Fernando? I have the paper.
Okay, yeah, if you have it, go ahead and just have Lulu repeat.
Yeah. So.
Okay, you know the drill.
Ready?
Hold on.
I know I gave you a copy too.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
That actually might be Ramos who just got on the line.
Okay, ready?
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Lourdes Carizales, do solemnly swear.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I, Lourdes Carizales, do solemnly swear
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the United States of and the Constitution of the State of California. Don't laugh at me.
This obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Yep, subscribe and sworn before me this May day of 4th, 2020. Day of the 4th. And I already have your little paper right here, magically.
Yay! Welcome, Lulu.
Yay,
It's
congratulations.
great to have you on.
Welcome.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And Lulu, just to clarify, how do you prefer to be addressed? Lulu, Lourdes, Ms. Carizales?
Lulu.
Lulu? Okay. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Jeannie, it's all yours.
All right, we move on to the approval of the minutes of the March 2nd, 2020 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I wasn't at the meeting, but I will second if that's all right.
Yes, it is. All right.
Thank you, Donna.
Roll call.
Okay. Public comment, announcements, unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the Planning Commission at this time on items on the agenda or on any other items of interest to the public within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. State law prohibits any member of the Commission from commenting or taking action on matter not on the agenda. Comment is limited to 3 minutes per person.
Hold on,
Do
Ms.
we have any publics?
Jeannie, before we do the public comment, we need to do a roll call vote on the previous item, the approval of minutes. If we could just backtrack a little bit.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No worries.
No worries. So I'll start. Commissioner Carizales.
Present.
If your vote on the minutes, so or aye or yay or nay to approve the minutes.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Commissioner Ramos, are you on the line, or did we lose him? I saw a number pop up, and I guess we lost. Okay. Absent. Commissioner Larios.
Yes, I approve.
Commissioner Elliott.
Yes.
Commissioner Tillotson.
Yes.
All right, 4-0 when absent. Now you may proceed.
Do we have any public comment? Okay, we'll close the public comment and move on to the public hearings. Hearing number 5A, conditional use permit, CUP 2006-03, an application submitted on behalf of the Wonderful Company to amend an existing CUP for purposes of establishing a community wellness center at the site of a former child development center preschool, 1225 South 7th Avenue. Staff report.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Tillotson. I believe we have somebody from the Wonderful Company on the line, so after I give sort of a brief overview of the project, if Mr. Chad Givens, I believe, would like to speak on the project, you're more than welcome to. But essentially, this project, as you know, is with regard to the former Wonderful Preschool on 7th and Highway 33. Wonderful decided to close the preschool and convert the space into a community wellness center. Because they were operating under a conditional use permit for the preschool, because it is zoned as a residential area, they are needing to amend the previous conditional use permit to allow for this new use. And what they propose to use the space for is for healthcare, behavioral health counseling, health coaching, nutritional support, physical wellness, and other types of resources for families. They expect to be open between 8 to 5 p.m., 5 days a week, and potentially some evenings and weekends. If you, per the staff report, staff feels that the commission is able to make all the findings, the required 8 findings to approve this conditional use permit. Also, there is no CEQA review that is applicable because it is an existing facility and no major construction, exterior or interior, will be part of the project. And yeah, we don't have any reservations as far as staff goes. So I'll go ahead and turn it over if there's anybody from Wonderful Company who'd like to speak on the project.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This is Chad Gibbons with the Wonderful Company. I appreciate your time, commissioners, in looking at this CUP application. We are very excited to be progressing down this road for our wellness centers. Our wellness centers provide health and care for many of our workers, their families, their children, and our students. We see a need for having some closer proximity to our employees and the residents of Avenal. Our goal here is to supply health and well-being to each one of these individuals, as well as a family resource center. We've been a big proponent, especially during this time, of ensuring we have things that we're able to pass out to the community as needed, things that are somewhat hard to find, and we want to be that resource to the community as we can. And also looking at this as a wellness perspective and having the clinic inside, we're looking at some after-school programs as well. That's going to be something that we'll use the facility kind of existing as is. So we're very excited to have this and to continue our partnership with the city of Avenal and the residents here and continue to do great things.
Thank you, Chad.
Okay, we would consider that basically our public hearing.
We would still want to open it up to see if there's any other public comment.
Okay, if there's any other public comment on the change for the wellness center, now's the time. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, discussion.
I have a question. This is Donna. Should Wonderful Company decide to sell this, how would it just depend on who would be buying it and what they would be using it for, whether we had to go back through this process or how it's zoned?
Yes, that's a good question. So if the property was sold, depending on the use, if the new owner wanted to continue the same use as the Wonderful Company, then there would be no need to bring it back because the conditional use permit would stay with the property. However, if there was any different proposed use, then yeah, we would have to consider a new use.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well,
Any comments, Laurie?
I do actually have a question for Mr. Gibbons. I actually wanted to know if this facility is only going to be for the workers that work at Wonderful, or is it for anyone in the community?
You know, we're not positive quite yet, and I'll say it for this reason. We're starting with a light opening, if you will, once we get to the point where it's ready to go. We want to get a feel for exactly how many people are going to be using it. And that doesn't just include the clinic portion, but it will include the family resource. Now, in Lost Hills, our family resource centers are open to the public, and they're busy quite often. Our clinics, we specialize really in our employees and their families and their children. But I know that there has been a lot of talk to see what kind of outreach we would be able to do to the city as a whole and not just our employees. So really it's just going to be a fill at the start to fill it out. Is this going to be something that we're going to have enough staffing for, or do we need to step up and bring in more for the community? And really, once we get closer to that point, start engaging the community and finding out exactly what they're desiring out of this as well. So it's evolving. If that's an evergreen process, it's evolving. Hopefully that helps answer a little bit of the question.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Gibbons. Yes, I think it would be great for the whole community to be able to take advantage of this facility. It seems like I think there is a great need here in this community. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
Did Mr. Ramos join us?
And not yet. I don't see any new guests as of this moment. No.
Okay. Lulu, do you have any comments?
she asked my question. That was what I was wondering, if it was going to be open to the citizens of Avenal or anyone, or just the employees, but he answered the question, mainly just employees in the beginning.
And again, that's the clinic side is mainly the employees and their families on the beginning of that. The family resource and the after school programs is going to be community wide.
Okay. Do we have any other comments or questions from the commissioners? Okay, then I guess I need a motion. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, there's 4 out of 5.
Okay, we need a motion for resolution for the Avenal Planning Commission approving the conditional use permit for the Wonderful Company.
This is Donna. I move that the Planning Commission adopt the resolution of the Avenal Planning Commission approving conditional use permit number 2020-1 for the Wonderful Company Community Wellness Center located at 1225 South 7th Avenue.
Do I have a second?
Yes, I second that.
Okay. Roll call. Commissioner Carizales,
Yes.
Commissioner Larios,
Aye.
Commissioner Elliott,
Yes?
Commissioner Tillotson.
Aye.
All right, 4-0, 1 absent.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate this.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons.
You guys have a
good
wonderful
evening.
Looking forward to it.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, our next is public hearing B, zone text change 2020-01. Recommendation to the Avenal City Council that various sections of the Avenal zoning ordinance be changed to assist in abating illegally parked trailers and recreational vehicles on city streets. Staff report.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Tillotson. We, as you might recall, about a year ago, and give me 1 second, I'm trying to pull up the item. We the Planning Commission asked staff to work with our city attorney and code enforcement to address the ongoing problem we've had of RVs and trailers and commercial vehicles being parked on city streets. And we have been working with our city attorney. We had a change of staff at our city attorney's firm, at Farley Law Firm, and so and we've also have had a few projects on our hands. So we were. It took us a while to finally get to this point, but we did want the Planning Commission to consider the changes that were discussed about a year ago, which essentially boiled down to establishing a 72-hour period where if a vehicle, an illegal vehicle such as an RV or trailer, or actually not an illegal vehicle, but a vehicle that is parked illegally, can have 72 hours where they cannot park within 1,000 feet of that same location, or else they would be cited and towed. It also, the changes that we discussed previously also recommend to the city council budgeting to be able to furnish and install signs at all entrances of town. And because that is legally required in order for us to be able to enforce this ordinance and to be able to tow vehicles. And then, you know, we also wanted to give code enforcement with this revision the ability to cite according to their normal code enforcement practices, because previously it was the wording of our municipal code and our zoning ordinance allowed really only the police department to be able to do that sort of enforcement. So now we've kind of expanded that to include code enforcement so that they can both work together to be able to resolve these issues. We cleaned up some of the language and created a stronger definition of what constitutes an RV trailer, and kind of highlighting, making it easier to understand that ordinance for all parties, not just enforcement, but for the public as well. And to that end of providing better, easier information or easier to access information to the public, we created a flyer that we've presented in the packet for your review that we would be distributing to the community, but also handing out to violators that have a history of parking RVs for long periods of time on the street, and RVs and trailers. So that's really what the changes come down to. We would have to, you know, make sure that the normal code enforcement processes are followed. And in the staff report, we mentioned considering, you know, increasing the potential fines or keeping them as is. Currently, code enforcement's normal process includes a warning and then a fine for the second offense, which is $50, which then increases to $100 and then to $150. And then the city would be able to take its own recourse by removing the vehicle or things like that. So, you know, the Planning Commission can make those recommendations to the City Council, and ultimately the City Council would have to decide if that's what they would want to adopt. But what you have before you is what we had discussed last year. And, you know, if there are any changes that you'd like to make, or if you're happy with what staff has presented, then we recommend adoption of the attached resolutions. Are there any questions?
I have no questions, Fernando. I'm very happy.
Glad to hear, Ms. Elliott.
Yeah, I'm very pleased.
Okay.
No questions. Looks great.
No questions.
Okay. All right,
Great,
I guess
great.
we'll open it up to a public hearing. Is there any public? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Any further discussion from the planning commissioners?
Looks good to me.
I'm good.
Okay, then do I have a motion to approve? Let me get my number here.
I motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
we'll do a roll call for that. Commissioner Carrizales,
Yes.
Commissioner Larios,
Aye.
Commissioner Elliott,
Yes?
and Commissioner Tillotson.
Aye.
And then we also have the two other smaller items, Fernando, that was by motion, right?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. So by motion, we are recommending that the Planning Commission approve the recommendation to council to improve or to approve the attached flyer, which is Exhibit C, and also the tag that code enforcement would be placing on vehicles that are found to be in violation of the ordinance. And then we also have the recommendation to set aside the budget, if I'm not mistaken, Tony.
Or the signs, yeah.
So what we're proposing is $10,000 to be budgeted in the 2021 fiscal year budget for the signs.
Do we need a motion for both of those or together?
I believe you can move for both together. Joseph,
Okay.
was that you?
Yeah, that was me. If you want to combine them, that's fine. If you want to separate them, that's fine. It's just up to you, whoever's making the motion.
Or is that Joseph? Was that you?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, it's good. It's coming out really, really neat.
Garbled.
But,
Not loud.
It's,
His voice?
would you be able to put it in the chat maybe, and I'll read it? It came out kind of like a robotic mutated.
Okay, so we just need a motion then to approve Exhibit B and Exhibit C?
to approve Exhibit B and C, and to also approve the recommendation for council. I don't think there's an exhibit for the recommendation to budget the funds, $10,000.
Okay.
Joseph said that we can do it as one. It can be one motion or two, depending how the motion is worded. That was what he said.
So if whoever is motioning first, if you can make sure to specify both that the flyers and the tag, motion approval of the flyers and the tag, as well as the budget recommendation to council.
Okay, I motion to approve flyers and tags and to approve the recommendation.
For the budget item to council.
For the budget items.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All right. Roll call. Commissioner Carrizales,
Yes.
Commissioner Larios,
Aye.
Commissioner Elliott,
Yes.
and Commissioner Tillotson.
Aye.
All right, 4-0, 1 absent.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we move on to new business. Reorganization of officer positions, vice chair.
Yes, thank you. As you know, Lulu is filling the seat of our previous vice chair, Homero Solorio. And so it is up to the Planning Commission now to select a new vice chair and in order to establish that position for another 2-year term. Joseph, correct me if I'm wrong, does this, if we reorganize, would the vice chair position be for the 2 years or for the remainder of Mr. Solorio's previous term?
Hear me okay now?
Sorry, we're still having trouble understanding you, Joseph.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna unplug and replug my mic, and I don't know if you heard any.
Okay, I didn't catch that. But
Work on his mic or change it or something.
yeah, it might be an issue with your hardware, Joseph, your microphone. Or do you want to try calling in with your phone?
guys hear me now or no? No?
I know, technology issues. Yeah, so, okay, thanks, Joseph. We'll go ahead and wait for you to call.
All right, I think we're gonna get Joseph right now.
Okay, I think I'm ready to talk now. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
A lot better.
Okay, sorry about that. I was on like a headset with a mic on it and it apparently wasn't working. So to be quite candid with you, I'm not 100% positive. There's two situations, whereas if someone comes in the middle of something, then depending on how far in it is, they either fill in and you have to fill that position with so many days, and then they either fill out the remainder of the term or a new election has to be held. And it all depends on the timing of the incumbent person that left. So depending on how much time was left on theirs. And so those are the two possibilities. But again, we just did some research on this for a different city, but I don't know 100% one way or the other which one is which. So we could account for those conditions, and then I could get back to you as soon as possible with a definite answer, or however the Planning Commission wants to proceed.
Sure. So if I could chime in, Mr. Solorio had recently started his second term, if I'm not mistaken, or was it his second term? I believe his second term. But I think that Glenda, who appointed Lulu, it was a sort of a normal appointment process. I think her intent was for Lulu to have a brand new term, to start fresh with her own term. If I think that's what she intended. So I don't know if that plays in, because these aren't elected positions; they're appointed by the council. So I don't know how that plays into things.
Okay, my bad then. The other one was elected position that I was talking about. I believe if it's just an appointed position, then it would probably just fill out the term of the appointed position. The one, did he depart early?
Yeah,
or was it just an opening?
He departed early into his second term.
So I think the safest bet would just be to appoint her for the remainder of his term, and then depending on the Planning Commission's direction or whatnot, yeah, you could either reopen that position or just leave it as is.
Okay.
Or if there's any.
So we could appoint. So Lulu could be appointed for the remainder of Mr. Solorio's term, but then we can reorganize for the vice president, or elect a new vice president, which would serve the full 2 years, or the remainder of that person's term, whoever it is.
My thoughts would be the remainder of that person's term, the
Okay.
vice president. So it would be for the remainder. And so that way everything kind of stays on track for future. But again, I can look into this a little bit further if you would like me to, or just move on as normal.
Yeah. I think if the planning commission would like to take on the voting process for new vice president, vice chair, and we can move forward from there.
What do you think, Donna?
Ready?
You want to just go ahead?
I'd like to nominate. I'll go ahead. I nominate Ms. Larios for the position of vice chair for the remainder of the term, Mr. Solorio's term.
I second.
Okay. Is there any other?
Before, so we have a nomination and a second. Do we have any other people that would like to be nominated before we go into voting? If there's none, then we can go straight to the motion.
Okay.
Now you need a motion.
Well, no, I believe that kind of was the motion and the vote. So, we should just do a roll call to see if everyone agrees or if there's any nays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Commissioner Carizales.
Louis, you can just say aye or nay.
You with us?
Or abstain.
User maybe. Are you here? Commissioner Carizales, your vote? I think she's chatting. She says yes, okay. Commissioner Larios?
Aye. I accept.
Commissioner Elliott?
Aye.
Commissioner Tillotson?
Aye.
All right, 4-0 when absent. The nomination carries, I guess.
Congratulations, Limari. Glad to have you as
Thank
vice
you.
chair.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we move on to old business, of which there isn't any, and Economic Development Oversight Committee comments.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief. If anybody is driven by the community center, there's been a lot of progress made. We're pretty close to wrapping up the first phase. I think they just have to put in some more sheets on the back of the building and pave the parking lot, which should be done within the next couple of weeks. And then, so in the meantime, we're waiting for the state to let us know if they will be granting us another $3.5 million to continue that project and outfit the interior of the building, or as much as we can with $3.5 million. And so I think at the last planning commission, I also discussed, if I recall correctly, the Prop 68 grant that we received, which we now have a executed agreement for, which was for the kids park behind the boxing club. So that's exciting. We're getting ready to start moving on that and issuing requests for proposals and things like that. As you know, the COVID-19 crisis has caused quite a bit of not, I wouldn't say panic, but a lot of concern in the community, especially with our local businesses. And at the last council meeting on last Thursday, I'm sorry, we had proposed a small business loan program for businesses who were struggling through this through the current crisis, and with that, and we actually had proposed $25,000 for council to set aside. They voted for $50,000 to make small loans, which would be potentially forgivable if certain conditions are met, up to a maximum of $3,000 per business. And so what we're looking to do is really just help businesses through this crisis by helping them either pay rent, utilities, help keep some employees on board. I know a lot of the businesses that have been closed as non-essential businesses are really, really hurting. And we've gotten lots of calls from businesses who just want to know when they would be able to open back up. And I know it's the same across the state and across the country with all the states that currently have a shelter-in-place order. But whatever we can do to help businesses, we're looking at it. So, it sounds like, based on the governor's call, I was talking to Melissa, our city manager, this morning, and sounds like things might be starting to ease up as far as restrictions on businesses, if businesses can implement safety guidelines and those kinds of things. So I think it's moving in the right direction. But in the meantime, a lot of these businesses are needing to make their payments and utilities and those kinds of things. So anyway, that is an update, and we'll keep you posted on how that program is rolled out. We have a lot on our plates right now. Tony and myself and most of the rest of the city hall staff are working from home. For the most part, I'll be in the office tomorrow. Tony is usually in the office on Wednesdays, and for any other special things that he's working on. And so you can always reach us. We're always available through email or through phone or text. But yeah, we're operating as normal as we can at the moment.
Very good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll end soon.
I can't wait.
Yes, hopefully.
It's getting old.
Yeah.
Very old. Can I ask if we have many cases in Avenal?
So Tony and myself are both on the emergency operations, emergency operations center committee for Avenal, and based on the most recent communication with our chief, there are 9 cases in Avenal at the moment, and one death doesn't appear to have been from Avenal. The one death that's been reported in Kings County. They are monitoring a lot more people, and it's potentially they could be monitoring people from Avenal. It's just the Kings County Health Department is very reluctant to release a lot of data about anybody they're monitoring or where even those folks are located because of HIPAA purposes. But they recently, started to release location information about those confirmed cases. So that's kind of where we're at right now. But based on the last count, we're at 9 confirmed cases in Avenal.
I can tell you with daily updates out at the prison, there are no confirmed cases at the prison. They've tested 5 inmates for potential, and they've all come up negative. So
very good.
Yeah.
Good. That's good to hear.
That's good. That's good to hear, yeah.
And just to add to what Fernando was mentioning, what we've been told from the county so far is that of the 160 plus cases now, that apparently none of those cases have had to be hospitalized. No one's had to use a ventilator. So that's kind of been the bright side of things up till now.
Well, that's a good thing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, they are expecting more cases as more testing becomes available, unfortunately. But so far, I guess no cases have been severe.
The state did set up a testing center in Hanford at the King's Government Center, from what I understand. And so I think that's they're looking at rural communities and making sure that rural communities also have the testing capacity that the rest of the state is getting.
So would our people have to go there to be tested?
Yes, from what I understand.
Okay.
I don't think the clinics in Avenal yet have the testing capacity. I think at some point they may, once those become more widely available. But I think for the time being, you do have to go to Hanford to get tested.
Well, hopefully the hot weather's going to take it away.
And the wind.
Right.
Hopefully. That's what I'm praying for.
Okay,
well, it was a good meeting.
Yeah. We have any other comments from the planning commissioners?
Just that. I thought it went very well.
It was different.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank Tony and the commissioners for for being so open. Tony for setting this up. I know he's been working closely with the council to set up their meetings for Zoom, but thank you to you, the commissioners, for being open-minded and agreeing to participate via phone and via Zoom. Thanks to Joseph for joining us as well, and everybody else who was able to join us. I know Umberto and Lupe from Code Enforcement were on the line as well. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Very easy. Thank you.
We're adjourned.
All right.
Night,
you guys
night.
stay safe. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Fernando, you need me to sign papers, right?
Yeah, I'll Tony, if you could leave the resolutions on my desk, and then I'll have if Jenny wants to stop by tomorrow, I can have her sign those.
Okay. Sounds good.
Jenny,
What are your hours at the office?
So I'm actually going to be in 8 to 5 tomorrow. So whenever you'd like to stop by.
Oh, okay, great.
All right.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow
I'll see you then. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Bye. You too.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Thanks, Tony.
Have a good night. Thank you all.
You too.